Hello, welcome to episode 4 of Generation 2 of the Perfect Genetics Challenge. We're still on Mountain Lake. At the end of episode 3, the quads had aged up, and James and Carla have now taken them to live in their own home, which is next door to Donna and Gary's place. And that is Patricia and Petunia standing on the footpath outside James and Carla's house where they've moved with their quads. I have given them a huge basement. It's a single level basement where they've got the bedrooms for the quads and a few skilling objects. Now, this little family is now going to stay in Mountain Lake, where we won't see much of them for the rest of this episode, but we will encounter them occasionally. That's why I thought I'd better age them up and not just leave them all as toddlers indefinitely. This aerial view is of James and Carla's house with all the objects in the backyard for the children to play with. And that house there with the car parked beside the house is Donna's place. And Donna's married to Gary, and Gary and James, of course, are brothers. And they are Cindy's older brothers. And Cindy is the heir who has now married and started her family. Of course, Cindy is the star of Generation 2, and her job is to produce an heir for Generation 3, and of course the heir must have the same hair and eye colour as Cindy has, and that Cindy inherited from her mother, Olivia, who was the founder. But first, let's have a quick look through the house where James and Carly are going to bring up their quads. This is the original house, and then to make room for the quads and for lots of skilling objects, I added a basement and put the bedrooms and bathrooms around the outside and made other rooms for their various entertainment and skilling objects. And now we're going to spend a little bit of time with this little family before we leave them to their own devices. Having worked so hard to complete all of their toddler skills and read all of their toddler books, we can't leave them as children without completing all of their child skills. And they started with cooking. And here is James with 2 of his children enjoying the fruits of their labour. They're eating some muffins the children have just cooked on the toy ovens. Those children move around a bit. There's 2 more ovens on the other side of the room, and all 4 of them are cooking at the same time. But at this point, there's only one little table that they can sit at. I shall have to remedy that situation and give them another table. I hadn't thought about the parents wanting to sit at the table with the children. I was feeling in the mood for decorating when I set this place up, so I ended up adding all of these skilling objects and entertainment objects that I thought I would enjoy playing with if I ever played this household. I usually don't feel quite this enthusiastic about decorating and often leave their houses almost empty. I tried to avoid adding things that would kill them, but being Sims, I'm sure that I will find ways of dying in here. It's just a bit annoying, I find, when your Sim in a house that you're not playing decides it's time to catch on fire or something, and you get dragged across to the other household to watch them die. So hopefully they won't get into too much trouble with what I've got here, but I'm sure there are a few things that they can harm themselves with. I did put a couple of all-in-one bathrooms there just in case, but I know they won't use them by default. I'll have to be having the active household, this being the active household, to get them in there in time. I have tried to provide them with lots of different skilling objects, and sometimes they do acquire a few skills while they're not being actively played. Anyway, the children have now got their cooking skill, and I will next set them to work on the blocks table, and then I will move on to the next household. Playing together on the blocks table seems to improve their friendship as well as their block building skills. So we'll leave them there, and now we will go and check out Donna and Gary with their twins before going home with Cindy and Bill and their twins. So here's Donna's place. Starting in the bottom basement where she's got a garden and her group science project. The garden is mostly money trees, so I hope she's got plenty of money. And then we'll make our way up to the top. and there is James and Carly's house on the left there, next door. We find Donna down in amongst her money trees, having a chat to them. Hopefully they'll grow her plenty of money if she talks to them nicely. She seems to think that went well. And here's Gary cleaning up after the toddlers. Cindy and Bill and their twins were in this household when I moved James and Carly and their quads out to their own home. But Cindy, Bill and the twins have moved to another house autonomously while I wasn't playing this household. So we've only got Donna, Gary and their twins here. And although these are the youngest toddlers, I am going to age them up to child because I don't want to come back here for a visit in a few episodes and still have some toddlers here. So I'm going to get them to finish their toddler skills. They've done their main skills, now they're just doing some a little bit extra in the playpen. They're getting some charisma and some logic skill. And there's Patricia with Donna and Gary. Of course, Patricia is Petunia's imaginary friend made real, and here's Petunia. So we've got the whole household here now, all 6 of them. Donna is a sim that I made and create a sim. Petunia is a plant sim that Donna picked. Patricia is Petunia's imaginary friend made real, who I gave a major makeover to in Create a Sim, and Gary was born in game to Olivia and to Don, and of course Gary is Cindy's eldest brother. And here is the little house in town that the game moved Cindy and her husband Bill and their toddlers to while I was setting up James's household. We'll get back to them. The toddlers are outside playing. We'll go back to Donna and Bill first and get their toddlers aged up, and then we'll come and spend a little bit of time with Cindy and Bill, and we'll move them back to Moonlight Falls to join the main household. So back at Donna's place, here's little Elsie. She's aging up to a child. And I gave her the adventurous trait. And then she went straight into Create a Sim, and I thought you might like to see her getting a bit of a makeover. I'm not too sure about her skin. She was given that one. I've left her with it for now, but it looks a bit plasticky to me. We'll see how she goes. I might decide to change her if I ever actually play her in the future. I thought I'd use this for her everyday outfit. I've never used it before, and she is a little fairy, and I don't think I'll be playing her much, so she'll look quite fun off in the distance. Still thinking about her wing colour. That's her formal outfit. That's what she was given by the game for her sleepwear, so I gave her that nightie. Her athletic outfit. And that is her swimwear. This is that career outfit that changes the hair half or most of the time. I changed it into that dress. I'll have to get the hair back. That's the outdoor outfit she got by default, and that's the one I gave her. And now let's go fix the hair back to how I wanted it. I like that one, but I prefer the one that I gave her. And little Charlie can age up and become a child now as well. They've both done all of their toddler skills and learned a few extras with using the playpen and the walker. Read all their books. So even though they are the youngest ones and Cindy's children should have aged up first, Cindy's can age up back at home in Moonlight Falls. These two need to age up now before Cindy leaves town. So there he is. I'll take him into the stylist, and then there he is after being made over. And the 2 little children are enjoying the dance floor in their home, and they'll be working on their child's skills. And it's time now for us to go back to Cindy. This will be the last we see of this pair in this episode. We'll probably see them again in future episodes because I'm going to fill the entire town up with Sims that are moving out of Moonlight Falls. And it's the night of the full moon. Let's go back to Cindy's place and see what's going on there. Uh-oh, Cindy's been outside and a zombie's got her. She has been zombified. But she's come back inside to dance while she's a zombie. How exciting. Let's just sit back and see what she does. She won't be a zombie for long. She's obviously heading out the door. Bill's gone to rescue the toddlers. Or at least he's picked his little son up. I think that little Denise is still sitting out there playing with her imaginary friend. Cindy's had a look outside and just gone straight back in again. Is she going to attack Bill? and make him a zombie as well. Anything's... Oh, look, yep, she's after him. No, she's not going to do it. I didn't see her get zombified, so I don't know where she was or how it happened. It happened while I was in Donna's place, aging up the toddlers to child. Looks like Bill's decided he's just going to dance. What else can he do? Cindy's reading a book, Don's dancing, and little Denise is still sitting on her own out on the landing. At some point, Bill went out and retrieved Denise from the landing, and a bit later on, when Cindy had finished reading her book, she got a little bit activated, started thinking about having an attack on Bill. We'll see what happens. Finally, much later, she decided to sit quietly and watch TV. So far, Bill was still safe, and so were the two toddlers. We've just got Cindy focusing on the TV, and she's enjoying the show. Why not let her enjoy the TV show for a while? We'll stay with her until she turns back into human, and then we'll set off home for Moonlight Falls. And there it is. She's lost all of her zombie look, and she's back to being normal. And she's still enjoying the same TV show, but it's time we headed back to Moonlight Falls. They each picked up a toddler, and Bill dialed up the travel agent, and off they went in a taxi, and then they set off, flying back home to the rest of the large family in Moonlight Falls. There are still 2 alien toddlers back in Moonlight Falls, and we will get Denise and Daryl to play with each of them so that they become friends as toddlers. And then little Carl will age up to child because he's ready to age up. He was just held back as a toddler so he could get to play with Sonny, who was the little toddler with the cap on. Carl will be having a birthday cake shortly. Now, there are approximately 20 Sims in this household. This is Cindy's home, so she'll be staying here with her immediate family. That's her husband, Bill, and any children they may have. And I will be gradually moving the rest of the Sims, with the exception of Olivia and Don, out to Mountain Lake to populate that world. And I'll also be sending Sims from the general population of Moonlight Falls to Mountain Lake. I may not put all of those moves into the video, but you will know about them, and you will see some of them occasionally. The reason I'm sending townies as well as Sims from this household is because there are now far too many Sims in the world for me to be able to save it without getting error 12s occasionally. So basically this entire process of moving Sims out to another world is to avoid me getting error 12s when I try to save. So it's a school day, and all of the teens and children from the household, plus a few townies, have turned up at the school. Now, most of these Sims from the household will be aging up. For those of you who watch my other series, that little plant sim teen there, that is Petal. I made a copy of her. She was picked by Olivia, so she belongs in this household. But I took a copy of her and put her into other games. If you see Petal in other series that I've made, this is where she came from. Several of these Sims are imaginary friends made real as well. It's interesting, some of the young townies went into the school and then came out again to sit out front and do their homework. Eventually, all of the Sims from the household will filter into the school, so we will leave them there and get back to the main household with Cindy and co. Much later that day, after everybody had come home from school, The birthday cake was out ready for Carl's birthday, and Cindy had just realised that she is pregnant. I wonder if this one will be an heir for her. She probably won't have twins this time though, because we don't have all that kids' music and reading of books going on and watching of kids' TV, so she'll probably just have a single birth. Eventually, the family gathered around the cake and Carl blew out his candles and spun into his child form. And there he is, standing there looking at his cake. Max arrived. Max is Don's alien son. Carl is Bill's alien son. So he is the eldest child of Cindy and Bill's family. Bill had aged up to young adult while Cindy was still a teen, and he got abducted by aliens, and Carl was the result. If you watched Generation 1's videos from this series, you will know that I made Bill especially for Cindy and added him to her household when he was still a teen, and he aged up to young adult a while before she did. So when she aged up to young adult, they were ready to get married and start a family. I didn't want the delays that I'd faced at the beginning of Generation 1, where it took several episodes for Don and Olivia to get to know each other and get to the point of getting married. It was because I added Don to his own separate household, and just getting him and Olivia to interact was next to impossible due to the game giving him a career that meant he was working when she was available, and then he just wouldn't turn up when I wanted him to. So it took a long time, so I decided for Generation 2, Bill was going to be there, ready to get married as soon as necessary. That tall sim on the right there in the swimming outfit, that's Trish. She's one of the imaginary friends made real. There's a lot of imaginary friends made real here. Several of them are young adults now, and they'll be moving out very soon. The process of eating birthday cake has meant that several of the Sims have spread out all around the ground level of this house. That's two of Don's alien children there with their imaginary friends made real. So let's have a little wander through the house so we can see where everyone's gone. It'll give you an idea of the layout of Cindy's home. There are two more birthdays that we're going to need to have urgently, and that is Petal and Cosmo. Now, Petal is about the same age as Cindy, but as soon as Cindy aged up to young adult, she got married and we headed off to Mountain Lake. Petal and Cosmo should have been aged up as well. Cosmo needs to age up because he is Petal's imaginary friend made real. I keep the imaginary friends made real the same age as their previous owners where possible. This is where the toddlers are in the nursery. I'll age all three of them up shortly as well because they've all learned all their skills. Sonny will age up first because he's the oldest of the three, and then we will age up the twins. Petal has decided to age up to young adult in the downstairs party room. We've got two tables set up with birthday cakes. One is for Petal and the other is for Cosmo, who is her imaginary friend made real. And of those Sims behind her, two of them are imaginary friends made real, and the one in the white outfit is one of Cindy's brothers. I think it's Owen. He's going to go and live in Mountain Lakes shortly, probably in the next episode. The one with the big afro in the yellow t-shirt, that's Cosmo, and he's going to age up next with the other cake. But let's enjoy Petal's cake first. I gave Petal the green thumb trait because then she'll be able to revive dead plants. I think it's important for my Sims to be able to revive dead plants. Here we are sitting around the table enjoying birthday cake. I think Petal must be in her sleepwear or something. That's not her everyday outfit. Not sure what that outfit is. It doesn't take long for all of that birthday cake to be consumed. And then we'll be ready for the next birthday, Petal's headed off to wash her plate. I gave them a little kitchen sink down here so they don't all wander off upstairs when I really want them all down here. So there's Cosmo standing there ready to blow out his candles. I left him with the hair the game gave him when he aged up to teen, or he had the hair as a child as well. So we'll see what the game gives him for hair this time, and then I'll have to make a decision if it's not one of the haircuts that look like the one he's wearing at the moment. All of the children are either aliens or imaginary friends made real. There goes Cosmo. What's hair is he going to get? He's got, oh look, I thought he would do well with adventurous. Now he could go and live in Mountain Lake as well as Petal and Trish. Got to get Sims out of this household so there's plenty of room for Cindy and Bill to have babies until they get an heir. I don't think I will wait to marry the Sims and make them have babies. They can work that out for themselves once they've moved to Mountain Lake. But I could change my mind at some time in the distant future, but not in an upcoming episode. Everyone who got cake appears to be enjoying it. Petal's going to do all of the dishes by the look of it. I think Cosmo can keep that hair, it's quite distinctive. He's probably the only Sim in this world and in Mountain Lake with that hair, so we'll know him, who he is, off in the distance. This lot missed out on cake, but they don't seem to have given up yet. They wait there long enough, another cake might magically appear, but I think they're out of luck. Back up to the toddlers, and Cosmo's doing this duty with them, making sure they're all fed and clean and ready for bed. Little Sonny is just working his way through his toddler books. He doesn't have many to finish, and then he'll be ready to age up as well, but it won't happen in this episode. This nursery contains everything a toddler can possibly need to learn enough skills to be able to grow up and be a child. But we need to make room for Cindy's new baby. There's only 4 cots in the nursery and we've got 3 toddlers in here at the moment. So I don't think she'll be having twins this time. I haven't checked and she hasn't done anything to encourage twins, multiple births. So we'll guess that she's not going to have twins. That means Sonny's got time to finish reading his books before he has to age up to make room for more babies. I've noticed that the rest of the Sims in the household like to gather in the nursery. Cindy got a bit tired hanging around there, standing up, so she's found a rocker to sit quietly. There's often a ghost in that rocker. It's a ghost of one of the Goth family, a purple ghost man. So she's peacefully rocking. All the toddlers are quiet. Trish went outside to the tower containing the group science project. I didn't put this one in the basement. I made a tower for it instead, and it's a very attractive object. Not only does it attract the members of the household, but half of the population of the world gather around it at night. But there's Trish. She hasn't got much of science skill yet, so she won't be here for long enough to maximise her science skill and get a group science project given to her that she'll have to leave behind. So hopefully she will eventually get to the top of the science skill when she's living in her own home and can get her own group science project. Cindy got a bit lonely, so she went upstairs to the bedroom that she shares with her husband Bill. But Bill's really tired because he's been working in the culinary career and Cindy's been resting, so she just went up there smiling happily to herself, enjoying her pregnancy. The next morning, the children and remaining teens ran off to catch the school bus. There are 2 remaining teens. There is Percy, Olivia and Don's youngest son, and his imaginary friend made real, Pat. And that Sim with the strange outfit heading out the gate now is Cindy's imaginary friend made real, Bobby. There goes Percy with the reddish-orange shirt. It looks like Bobby needs a makeover. He's off to work at the science facility. He'll be moving to Mountain Lake soon as well. The school bus hung around for a while waiting for somebody else to get on board, but but there was nobody else to get on board, so I'm not sure what that was all about. And after everybody had headed off to work or school, I found Cindy downstairs dancing to the music. She does enjoy dancing, and her tummy is getting bigger. I wonder if we'll have time for the birth before the end of the video. Late that night I checked on the nursery, and there was Samuel Goff, the purple ghost, sleeping in the rocker. 2 of the toddlers were in their cots asleep, and little Denise was in the playpen working on her logic skill with the abacus. I'd managed to get everybody to bed. Normally when Sims age up from toddler, I've got to add a new bedroom, but this time I didn't have to because both James and Gary have moved to Mountain Lake. As usual, after dark, many townies decide to spend the night in this household's backyard. I'd wondered why several of the Sims had got a wish to talk to a vampire. Then I discovered little Carl out the back chatting with the vampire Janet Pock. I was immediately wondering, why aren't you in bed? And is he safe with this woman? Then I realised I hadn't told him which bed he could sleep in yet, so I left him there and sorted that out, hoping that he wouldn't be turned into a vampire in the meantime. Can an alien be a vampire as well? Haven't seen that happen yet. Could be an interesting thought though. No sooner had I got Carl safely to bed than I discovered that somehow or other little Daryl had managed to find his way into the yard and was sitting at the feet of that vampire. And Samuel Goff wafted by as well and headed out to have a look at the group science project. Oh, and there's Dahlia Goodfellow practicing hoops. This backyard's like a public park at night time. But it's fun. How am I going to get little Daryl safely back to bed? And I thought, there's nothing for it, I'll just have to wake up his mother. So Cindy came down and rescued her son. It's almost dawn now anyway, so it was time for her to get up. Janet Pock seemed to be taking good care of little Daryl, and here is Cindy come to rescue him. I don't know how he got out of his cot, but he's safe now. Oh look, Max has woken up. He spent the night in the clubhouse up in the tree. And Janet Pock, the vampire, is totally exhausted, so she is going to try to get a little bit of sleep before the sun comes up, and she's got to head inside because she is a vampire and she won't like being out in the sunshine. And Max is going to have a swim, an early morning swim. As Cindy vanished with little Daryl, it occurred to Janet that there is a place that she could have a little snooze. It's occupied. That's Linda Rogers, Sophie's mother. I'm planning to send Sophie and her mother to Mountain Lakes fairly soon. They might even go with the first group that head off that way. Max is enjoying his swim. I wonder what it would be like waking up from a deep sleep and finding there was a vampire standing over your bed looking at you. No wonder Linda got up so quickly. At least she's not been turned into a vampire. Little Max, he seems to be enjoying his swim. It's nearly time to go to school. Oh, that was an interesting dive. All of the townies usually head off home once the sun comes up. And there's little Daryl sleeping soundly, safe in his cot, with his mother and grandfather standing beside his bed. And looking at the size of his mother's tummy, I suspect it won't be long before he's got a new baby brother or sister. So Janet Pock has vanished, and now there's Dahlia Goodfellow enjoying a little snooze in that chair that Linda Rogers left vacant. Max is still enjoying his swim. His fun was soon rudely interrupted by the arrival of the school bus. But he's a good boy, and he immediately spun into his school clothes and ran off to catch the bus for school. Now, Max is one of Don's alien children, and he shares a mother with another of Don's alien children. That's little Sonny, who's about to age up to child in the next episode. And their last name is Ayahod. And as is usual at this time of day, there was a sudden mass evacuation of children, teens and others as they headed off to school or work. But there was one unexpected visitor who arrived almost as soon as the school bus had departed for school, and the yard was quiet. And this visitor looked to be an adult alien He was definitely an alien, and I was interested to see that his last name was Ayohod, the same last name as is shared by Max and Sunny. And that made me wonder if he was their alien father, or perhaps their uncle was somehow related. He was an alien who shared their last name. Oh look, there's Linda Rogers complaining about something or other. Looks like she's been playing on their basketball court. And she's all stinky, so she must have been there for quite a while. And here's that alien visitor I told you about. But maybe he's an elder. He just popped in for a second or two to steal one of the rocks that had spawned in their front garden. Once he'd picked it up, he went straight back into his space car and vanished. Perhaps he's the boy's grandfather. Whatever he wasn't there to visit them. He just grabbed that gem and ran off back to his space car. Meanwhile, in the backyard, Darlie Goodfellow had woken up and was playing the guitar. She'd got an audience, a little Bindi and Owen. Inside, Cindy had an urge to read a book, but while she was choosing it at the bookcase, her labour pains started, the birth is imminent, and of course her husband Bill did the right thing. He stood there and he panicked, but then he decided that she should go to hospital, so off they went. This time they caught a taxi. Last time, of course, Cindy drove herself, with Bill as the passenger, but there was a taxi waiting for them outside. Now, I have taken a peek at her stats, and it looks like she's got a 50% chance of having twins, although I didn't think I did anything to encourage a multiple birth. She did go to the day spa once for a massage, but that was the only possible thing that she's done that could have suggested a multiple birth. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, do we wait until the next episode, or you want to hang around and see what she has? So I do hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have enjoyed it, please give it a like. And thank you for subscribing if you've subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed, would like to make sure you see the next episode, then subscribing could be a really good idea. So thank you for watching. Bye bye for now, and happy simming. Oh, this is awkward. She's just heading into the hospital, and Bill's following her in. Maybe we should just hang around here for a tick or two and see what happens. I usually try to make my videos finish before the 30 minutes point is up, but Cindy's making us wait. Here she comes with the baby girl. Where's Bill? Here he is, and he's got a baby girl too. It's twins. So that's it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Bye bye for now. I'll see you in the next video, and happy simming.